So, okay, this is the second video that I wanted to do, and I was kind of conceptualizing it as I was doing the Max video, and then I started reading the next tab I'm going to show you, and I don't know what's going on in the Canadian press right now, but this is insanity. Like, this is crazy. Okay, so Trump imposed the Friday deadline for NAFTA. We have not met the Friday deadline, but he has let Congress know that Canada is willing. If Canada is willing, he'll let us join up to the 90-day. Like, we can join if we're willing, the NAFTA deal. So he's notified Congress that NAFTA is changing. Here's what it's changing to. Canada can join. So he hasn't closed the door on us. And if you want to read the article, go ahead and read the article. I was going to have a bunch of clips of Ms. Freeland talking to the press and all this other stuff. And then I read this. And so this is a Toronto Star article. And I'm going to read it, but so pay attention to the pink, because the pink is talking about their source. And then the blue is, we're going to go back and look at the blue again. And then I'm going to tell you why I think it's crazy. Okay, so quote from the Toronto Star, and the original link will be in the description as well. Bombshell leak to Toronto Star upends NAFTA talks in secret, quote, so insulting remarks. Trump says he isn't compromising at all with Canada. Okay, Washington. High-stakes trade negotiations between Canada and the U.S. were dramatically upended on Friday morning by inflammatory secret remarks from President Donald Trump after the remarks were obtained by the Toronto Star. In remarks Trump wanted to be off the record, Trump told Bloomberg News on Thursday, according to a source, that he is not making any compromises at all in the talks with Canada, but that he cannot say this publicly because, quote, it's going to be so insulting they're not going to be able to make a deal. Quote, here's the problem. If I say no, the answer is no. If I say no, then you're going to put that, and then it's going to be so insulting they're not going to be able to make a deal. I can't kill these people, he said of the Canadian government. In another remark he didn't want published, Trump said, according to the source, that the possible deal with Canada would be, quote, totally on our terms. He suggested that he was scaring the Canadians into submission by repeatedly threatening to impose tariffs. Okay, so they're explaining what Trump meant, which, okay. Quote, off the record, Canada's working their ass off, and every time we have a problem with a point, I just put up a picture of a Chevrolet Impala, Trump said, according to the source. The Impala is produced at the General Motors plant in Oshawa, Ontario. Trump made the remarks in an Oval Office interview with Bloomberg. He deemed them off the record, and Bloomberg accepted his request not to reveal them. But the Star is not bound by any promises Bloomberg made to Trump, and the remarks immediately became a factor in negotiations. Trudeau's officials, who saw them as evidence for their previous suspicion that Trump's team had not been bargaining in good faith, raised them at the beginning of a meeting with their U.S. counterparts Friday morning. The Star was not able to independently confirm the remarks with 100% certainty, but the Canadian government is confident they are accurate. Well, hold on there. What? Bloomberg editor-in-chief John Makowitz, I think that's how Makowitz? I'm not sure how you say your last name, sir, but you're the editor-in-chief of Bloomberg, who was one of the journalists in the room, did not dispute their authenticity. That's not the same as confirming its authenticity. And if it immediately derailed NAFTA talks, do you think that's responsible journalism? I'm what? So this is where I got to before I stopped looking for funny clips of Ms. Freeland offering popsicles to reporters. Yes, that happened. Look for yesterday. And if there's enough people wondering, if there's any comments about it, I'll do a video about it, because I was like, what? Really? Seriously? But what? So if you want to read the rest of this, and in my opinion, as soon as an unnamed source is not 100% identifiable, maybe that's not a good enough reason to derail NAFTA. And maybe if the Canadian government is confident that these statements were A, real, and B, constitute enough to undermine Trump's negotiation, like, you've been undermining, you being Mr. Trudeau and your entire negotiation team, Mr. Butts, Ms. Freeland, and the whole crew, have been undermining this negotiation the whole time. So I don't understand how the Canadian press can print this trash and pretend that's news. My goodness, MaximeBernier.com. Don't listen to this garbage. This is holy, oh, I don't know what this is, but this is not information. Happy Labor Day, everyone.